What's up, everybody? It's Brian from Hashwarehub. It's about 10 o'clock Eastern Time. It's December 20th, and we're coming to you with a brand new video. Especially going to talk about Bitcoin, plus some other doodads that we like to look at as far as indicators to see what's going on with the market. But first, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you get all of our information directly to you. Things are heating up, so you want to make sure you get all that right in your inbox or right to your YouTube channel. Also, for you Steamians, an upvote or a great comment would be greatly appreciated, just so we see you guys getting the information. So we're gonna go over Bitcoin, but first we're gonna go over Litecoin and a few others. So what we're looking at right now is we're looking at a Litecoin daily chart. Each candle is a day. And you'll notice, if you've seen our videos in the past, we normally have these top three indicators. These top three indicators are trend strength, the detrended market movement, in other words, the detrended data. And here we have a MACD. Now what we've also added is, this is like a sine wave signal. And here is the RSI. Now in the past, in the early videos, we did include the RSI. However, we don't really ever use it. And just because it's included here does not necessarily mean that we use it. But we have it here in order for those who are familiar with RSI to compare it with this sine wave indicator. And we're going to talk about the sine wave indicator throughout this little dialogue here, throughout this little video, and you'll get an idea of how to utilize it. But let's go over Litecoin real quick. Litecoin had a down day today. Like what we always say, you know, the further it moves away from this blue line, and the longer that happens, the more probable it is that the price is going to revert. And it hasn't necessarily reverted directly to the blue line, but it is coming back down. Not to say that this is a low risk entry by any means or anything else like that, but that's basically what's going on with Litecoin. You know, the trend here is, it peaked right here and it's going down. So like we always say, that's always kind of like the first signs regarding something going on within the underlying market structure, specifically for Litecoin. So this may be something we want to keep an eye on a little bit longer. And like what we always say, you never give up much of anything by reducing your risk. So if you got into Litecoin anywhere around here or even over here, it makes a lot of sense to go ahead and reduce your risk and sell some off here and possibly buy some up here, buy down here if the market were to come back down, in order to work off a jump off of the blue line. So that's what we got to say about Litecoin. Next is, what do we want to look at? Let's look at Dash. Dash had a huge update today. We love Dash. We own Dash. We own a lot of things, but we own Dash too. So Dash had a huge update today, and we love it. So D-Trend is on this uptick here. MACD is also on this uptick. And so let's take a look at here the sine wave indicator. And let's also look at it with respect to the RSI. So what you'll notice with the sine wave indicator, that it tends to try to move from highs to lows to highs to lows, on and on and on, similar to like a normal sine wave. However, this sine wave is adjusted by the data itself. It's a complicated process, not going to get involved into it right now, but if you can basically think of applying the market data to a sine wave curve, in other words, adjusting that sine wave curve with respect to the market data. Now, the sine wave curve is great for cyclicality, not really great for trending markets. What has basically any crypto do in this industry, right? Any crypto coin do right now, it's trending. Yeah, it's really not cycling at all. So it's one of the reasons why we don't have this indicator up right now, because we really don't use it all that very much. Same thing as to why, like, an RSI wouldn't work so well. So an RSI tends to be pinned in one location or the other, more so than the sine indicator is. However, the sine wave is really good for identifying trend reversals. And when I say trend reversals, it has to be done in a very particular way. So what you need to do is, so for example, anytime where there's this blue line here, it's generally an uptrend. So if we take a look at that, and we also take a look at the sine wave, what we'd like to see is that when the purple line crosses above the blue line, and the blue line here is showing up. Another thing we can also look at is it crossing, and also the blue line, and also the trend strength can also be an additional validator of the sine wave. Another validator may possibly be the detrend. If the detrend is in kind of a positive direction, we can also utilize the sine wave as a possibly low risk entry. So, for example, here you can see not only did the price come down to the blue line, but also the sine wave right here, boom, the purple line crossed over the blue line. So that's an additional indicator of saying, hey, there's a good chance that the market may move up from this point forward. And it did exactly that. And what we like to do with this, what we like to see with the sine wave, is to make these deep troughs up and down, up and down. Now, when the market is in this uptrend, where we don't use a sine wave is when it's an uptrend, and we don't use it in order to indicate that the market's going to come back down. We don't use it. We only utilize it to show where the market is going to go back up, because that's the path of least resistance. That has a lot to do with trading. If any of you guys ever studied Gann, and we did extensively, there's something that he talks about in a lot of his books as far as the path of least resistance. In modern day, it's more like the trend is your friend, is kind of like the current saying. But he defined the path of least resistance in a lot of different ways, a lot of really great ways. And this kind of jives with that. So, yeah, here it worked out great. Another place would be like here, it worked out great. Okay, now, yeah, and you can look back in time and take a look on the video here. It's worked out a bunch of different places, but I don't want this video to go on forever. But it's a thing. It's something to look at for a trend for basically low risk entries into going into the direction of the market. So in other words, as the market dips down, and when it dips down, where is a low risk entry confirmation in addition to the blue line? This is also a great way. This sine wave is actually a great way to confirm that it's also a highly probable event that the market's actually going to bounce off of the blue line. Not only getting a low risk, but you're also getting a high probability that the market is actually going to turn in your favor. So, yeah. But even with Dash here, I mean, Dash has gone many, many days where it's away from the blue line here. And now here it's like, it closed at like, what is this? This is like 1550 or something like that. So, I mean, a great great profit pickup here, to say the least. Next, let's take a look at Ether. Okay, so Ether, you know, got a slightly down day today. It's been away from this blue line for quite some time here. It's super bullish. The D-trend is going sideways. Okay, divergence. D-trend is going sideways. The market's going up. Maybe there may be some mean reversion. So it's something to look at here. Obviously, RSI is overbought. You also see the sine wave at its top here. Now, again, we don't utilize a sine wave to indicate when the market's going to come down when the market is generally in an uptrend. We don't use it for that at all. You can see specifically here the reason why. Sine wave had these multiple crossovers. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Had all these crossovers right here when the market was going up in a trend. We don't like to use it during that time period. What else? Okay, so next, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Okay, so everybody's bugging out that Bitcoin had this enormous correction and oh my God, blah, 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 the freaking sky's falling. this is what we've all been waiting for, and it's showing that Bitcoin isn't a real this, that, or the other thing, whatever headline there is out there. We really don't read the headlines. The headlines are in the data. Everything's in the data. And if you don't believe that, you'll eventually believe that as time goes on. Everything you need to know is in the price data. And if you want to get really sexy about it, you can also utilize the volume data. And that's really great for market patterns, and we're going to get into all that over these sessions here, into giving more information with regards to market patterns. So, we've been calling for this for some time. I mean, as the market had ran up here and all along here, we're like, take profits, take profits, take profits, take profits, over and over and over, right? So it had this peak up here, right? And then the market started coming down. You can see right here via the D trend, the market was going up, the D trend was going down. It was a divergence. It felt like a broken record, saying the same thing over and over every single day. So now the market had this big sell-off. Now everybody's saying, oh my God, it sold off so much. It's like a huge sell-off. Well, not really. We were waiting for this. We were waiting for it to come and hit this blue line. We were waiting for it to come and come closer to this blue line here. So it's not something we're really, shocked about. We were saying that this was going to be happening for some time. Now, do we get in it? It's a low risk trade. It's a lower risk trade, right? Possibly. You can get into it for a touch. Now, what I would say is, if you did not sell up here or reduce your risk in any of these levels around here, don't go out and use more money to purchase now, just because I say it's a low risk entry. Low risk entry means you've been able to book profit. And now you take some of that profit, or you can take all of that profit, and you put it in here at this price. And what does that gain you? That gains you the fact that your position didn't decrease from here to here, right? From here to here, you saved all that loss, right? From here to here. So call it like, I don't know, let's call it like 19,000 to like, 17,000, approximately 17,000, right? So that's $2,000 per Bitcoin, right? So since you did not take that hit on your book, it does not make sense for you to go ahead and get into this low risk position. Okay, because then you're taking additional capital outside of this position and you're adding to the position. You don't want to do that. It messes up all the numbers. It messes up all the risk numbers. So if you're to purchase now based on getting out of some of your position as the market was moving up here, yeah, you can buy a little. Okay, we may purchase a little bit right here. The D trend is coming down, so that's something that does not look so great. Another thing we're looking at is that the sign indicator has not come down, has not dipped down, right? The sign indicator has not dipped down. Remember, the market's going up. We want this sign indicator to dip down and then the purple to cross over the blue. That has not happened yet. It doesn't have to happen, but it's an additional confirmation that possibly when you get into this low risk trade, that the market will turn in your direction. So yeah, I mean, that's really the skinny of the situation here. So, for those who thought that it sold off too much, subscribe to our videos because you'll see what we've been saying all this time. Hit that notification bell. There's a reason why I say all this. Yeah, so we're going to be tracking this very closely over the coming days and giving you more information as we see fit, as we see more information becoming available. That information becomes available through the market data. As each day progresses or as each minute progresses, more of the picture is being painted for us. And that's the way you should look at your trading as well. So with that said, we're going to leave you there. Any questions, leave a comment below, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and happy trading.